Today, we're making pancakes. These pancakes have no added sugar, they have no phosphorus additives, and they're 4 simple ingredients. I'm Michelle Crosmer. Welcome back to Plant-Based Kidneys Kitchen. And the 4 ingredients are going to be ground flaxseed, banana, of course, some cinnamon, and then some sort of flour. I like to use garbanzo bean flour because it's going to have more fiber in it. So let's get started. First thing is this original recipe I actually found from The Baby Dietitian is her name. I follow her because she has great recipes and I have a almost 1-year-old baby. So the original recipe calls for using an egg, which you're welcome to do, but to make this fully plant-based, I'm going to make a flax egg. So that's the first thing we're going to do is make our flax egg. That way it can sit for a couple of minutes. So it's super easy. All you need is ground flaxseed, and you're going to take 1 tablespoon of that ground flaxseed. You're going to add it to a little bowl, and then you're going to add 3 tablespoons of water to that. And that's it. So typically in most recipes, especially, baking recipes, if it calls for an egg, you can make a flax egg instead. So 1 tablespoon ground flaxseed with 3 tablespoons of water. I'm going to give that a little stir and then let that sit while we make the rest of this. Now you might be thinking, how can I have banana pancakes if I have kidney disease? This recipe is still overall low to moderate in potassium. The banana is being used as the sweetener, the natural sweetener, and to bind the pancakes together with the flour. So we use 1 large banana that is ripe. And what you're going to do is you're going to add it to a bowl, and then we're going to mash it up with a fork. So of course, the riper the banana, the easier it is to mash up. You definitely wouldn't want to do this with like a green banana because that would be way too hard to mash up. So then we're just going to mash it all together with a fork, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. Now again, as I said, there's no added sugar in this because the banana is acting as the natural sweetener. Bananas, especially ripe bananas, are very sweet. So we'll mash that all up. And again, we have our flax egg still sitting. You could stir it every, 30 seconds to 60 seconds or so. But what's happening is that the flaxseed's absorbing some of that water, and it's going to kind of be that binding consistency of an egg. The other great thing about these pancakes is that they are negative PRAL, or potential renal acid load. I will have an entirely different episode on the potential renal acid load, but the main thing to know is that fruits and veggies especially are going to be negative potential renal acid load. And so this means that they are just less work for the kidneys and can help prevent metabolic acidosis, which is common with kidney disease. So since this recipe is made out of just a little bit of a flour, and it's a garbanzo bean flour and then banana, it's overall a negative potential renal acid load. Okay, so if you see, we have that 1 large banana all mashed up. What I'm going to do while I mix the rest of this is get my pan, which I added just a little bit of spray avocado oil, and I'm going to turn it on between low and medium heat. And that way that can get warm. So the next thing we're going to add to this is some cinnamon. I don't measure this. If you love cinnamon, you can add more. If you don't like it that much, just add a little. But you're just going to sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon in there. Mix that up. All right. And then just to show you, again, you can let the flaxseed go a little longer if you wanted. Pretty much, this is going to be our egg substitute. I'm going to pour that directly in here. Give that a little mix, and then we add our flour. So originally this recipe, it says to use any flour of choice. Of course, you can use an oat flour. You can use a whole wheat flour. You could use almond flour. Almond flour will be higher in potassium, but we only use 2 tablespoon portion. But I like to use garbanzo bean or chickpea flour. It's a good source of plant protein. And again, it's going to be higher in fiber because it's made from a legume. So we're going to do 2 tablespoons of garbanzo bean flour. And again, that's going to go right in here. I like to do 1 tablespoon, mix it up. And then I'll add the next tablespoon and mix it up again. So the way that I came about, this recipe, like I said, it's originally for, it's a quick, easy pancake that has no added sugar that you can make for a baby that's learning how to eat. But my husband tried it and he was like, wow, these are actually good. And I personally hate bananas. I don't like to eat bananas. I don't like bananas in a smoothie. If bananas in a fruit salad, it's even touched a banana. It grosses me out. I usually don't let my husband throw the banana peels away in the trash because then it's all I can smell. But for some reason, banana bread and banana pancakes I like. And I even like these myself. So we have our batter here. And so this recipe, I'll give you the nutrition information for it in a sec, but this recipe is going to make 1 serving. You can either make 4 little pancakes or 2, decent sized pancakes, or 1 huge pancake if you want, whatever you prefer, but that's all. So again, just to remind you, we have the 1 large ripe banana that we mashed up. We sprinkled in some cinnamon. We added our flax egg, which was 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed mixed with 3 tablespoons of water. And then we added in 2 tablespoons of garbanzo bean flour. So now all I'm going to do is add it to my pan, which again, I said it's on about medium heat. And I'm going to make 2 pancakes like this. And this measuring cup that I'm using, get the rest out of here, is about 1/3 of a cup. So you'll get 2/3 cup portion. Get the rest out in there. And we're going to cook for 2 to 3 minutes on each side. So we'll set the timer. For about 3 minutes, I'm going to do. Show you before. So this is what it looks like in the pan. And then we'll flip them after 3 minutes and then cook for another 2 to 3 minutes. All right, it's been 3 minutes. Now we're going to flip our pancakes. All right, I'm going to press them down a little. And we're going to let them cook for another 3 minutes on this side. It's been another 3 minutes and our pancakes are done. Take these off so you can see what they look like. We have 2 pancakes here. Again, this recipe is meant to be 1 serving, but of course you could share this and then adjust the nutrition information. So per serving for both pancakes, it's 217 calories, 6 grams of protein, 41 grams of carbohydrates, 7.5 grams of fiber, 12 milligrams of sodium, 662 milligrams of potassium, 127 milligrams of phosphorus, and it's negative 9.3 PRAL, or potential renal acid load. So again, that's great. It's negative and very negative potential renal acid load. Now, of course, most people don't eat just plain dry pancakes. I think probably besides my baby. So because these have no sugar added, of course, you can add a little bit of maple syrup or honey to add some sweetness. If you wanted to add some peanut butter on top, that would add 90 milligrams of potassium and about 54 milligrams of phosphorus. What I like to do is I like to take frozen blueberries and thaw them, and because then the juices kind of run a little bit and it makes kind of like a syrupy blueberry sauce on top. So if you were to do 1/2 cup to 1 cup of either fresh or frozen blueberries, that would be anywhere from an additional 60 to 120 milligrams of potassium. So again, on their own, it's 662 milligrams of potassium. Now, of course, if you think of on a meal basis, even if you added a little peanut butter or a little bit of blueberries or a little bit of maple syrup, these are still going to be in the low to moderate potassium range, which is perfectly acceptable for most people with kidney disease. And a lot of people with kidney disease don't have any potassium restriction. So there you have it, 4 simple ingredients: a banana, some cinnamon, a flaxseed egg, and then some garbanzo bean flour. I hope you guys enjoy. Please share this video with your friends and family, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks.